All right. Give me one moment. Let me check to make sure that we have audio, that the signal is okay, and then we'll begin. We're going to pick up on page 197, even though we went through that. All right. We went through the paragraph on 197 last time. We're going to go through it again. All right. I think we need it for continuity. We need it for continuity. All right. So here we are. The gospel and the zodiac. All right, y'all. The gospel and the zodiac. The secret truth about Jesus. You'll find the link to the free PDF in the description area of the video. As you know, if you take a look at this, the author claims that this picture that you're looking at is the Wailing Wall here. He claims that's part of the temple that remains today. That is in fact not the case. That's a Roman fort. Okay, that's the remains of a Roman fort. So, as you will recall, the author said that the prophecy in Mark 13 was not true, right? And he made reference to this wall. Now, I asked you guys, I highly recommended that you guys watch that video I did with Sadnetta. It's on the homepage of Zion Law School YouTube channel. Watch that video so that you can see that it was an impossibility for a second temple to have been built, which is to say that all of Mark chapter 13 is a fairy tale. All of the Gospels are a fairy tale, meaning they're not historical. They're not historical. I want to make that clear. But don't take my word for it. You go through it yourself. The video is on Zion Law School, right where you're at. Click on the home page. You'll see me and Sanetta on the screen. It's called All Abrahamic Faiths Are Fraud, or something like that. All right. You owe it to yourself and to your family. You don't have to change your religion. You can get the evidence and continue doing whatever you want to do. But whatever you do, don't be a fool. Especially a willing fool, because you're afraid to examine the evidence. All right? But some of you are very good, very capable. You get evidence and you make moves like that. But whatever you do, that's your decision. I don't have a dog in the race with your life. Okay, so here we go, page 197. Mixed with this conventional Jewish imagery, however, are astrological concepts. So the author is relating end-time prophecy in the Gospels with astrological concepts, which involve not one time of cosmic upheaval, but a series of cosmic upheavals. Y'all got that? Not one thing that happens astrologically that's going to cause devastation, but a series of astrological phenomena that will devastate the earth. A series. As explained in the forgotten language of the stars. So you guys make note of that, find that PDF, get it and read that book, okay? the forgotten language of the stars. The ancient world believed that when the equinoctial point moved, equinoctial point, you should know by now, especially if you've been following me, the equinoctial points are the natural new year, occurring sometime between March 19th, 21st, 22nd, right? And then August, somewhere around August 19th, thereabout. That's when there's 12 hours of day and 12 hours of night. Equinoctial, equal, okay? All right, the ancient world believed that when the equinoctial point moved from one constellation to the, from one constellation of the zodiac to another, a new age was born. Now, this is the key phrase here, a new age. Y'all keep that in mind, a new age, all right? A new age was born, okay? So let's continue. This was not just a pagan belief. Both the story of Abraham and the story of the Exodus show this type of thinking was not foreign to the Jews. Now let's go back and read the footnote on page 197. The whole story of Abraham seems to reflect the movement of the equinoctial point. So we're talking about in March, right? From Taurus to Aries, from Taurus to Aries. So what is this saying? What is this saying? So every March, somewhere around March 19th, 21st, 22nd, whenever it is in that year, at about 5:30 in the morning, the sun is going to begin rising, right? Sunrise occurs. You look over the horizon on the east, you would have seen during Abraham's time, the constellation Taurus rising on the horizon, okay? That transition from during Abraham's life, from Taurus rising on the east, when you look at the horizon, now it's Aries. Aries is about to begin to be seen rising on the east of the horizon. Y'all got that? Every 2,150 years or so. But go back and check that number with the number that Robert Taylor gives in the Devil's Pulpit. It may be different. I don't recall exactly right now, but I would go with whatever is in the Devil's Pulpit. All right, whatever that number is. Is that clear? Is that clear? So 2,150 years went by where Taurus was seen every March 19th, 20, 21st or so, 22nd. You go out in the morning, 5:30 in the morning, when the sun is about to shine, you look to the east, you see Taurus on the horizon. That happened for 2,150 years or so. Now that's going to change during Abraham's day. No longer Taurus, but the change will be Aries. You'll see Aries, 5:30 a.m. in the morning, looking north over the horizon. Is it clear? Okay, let's continue. He is supposed to have lived around 2000 BCE. At the beginning, I cannot make out what this says. The ink in my book is not good. Oh, okay, I think it's smudged, rather, smudgy. At the beginning of the Aryan age. Okay, so this is referring to So, okay, so Abraham is supposed to have lived at the beginning of the age of Aries. Let's put it like that. Abraham lived at the beginning of the age of Aries. All right. And he is instructed, Abraham is instructed by capital G-O-D. You guys should know who capital G-O-D is right now. God is Zeus. What other relationship should you know? God is dog spelled backwards, no upper lowercase g. And ancient Ibaryath, which is sometimes called Paleo Hebrew. What are the other relations? In medieval times, God is Odin, Woden, and the modern spelling of that deity, Odin, Woden, is capital G-O-D, God. Going back, G-O-D is Zeus. Zeus is Apollo. Jesus is in a trinity, right? There's a trinity. So therefore, Jesus is the tetragrammaton, YHWH, however you want to pronounce that name. The tetragrammaton is Zeus and Izeus. Jesus is Izeus. So all of these deities, right? The same, or as they say in Vietnam, same. So get your concepts clear and stop arguing and debating about deities, because you sound like a fool. You're arguing about something that you don't have a clue about. Not only that, but if you claim to follow the Most High's laws, you're breaking the very first one. But it's really not your fault, totally. But you're old enough to know that you need to discipline yourself and take responsibility for your education. Now, I'm not talking about in high school and college. That's an indoctrination. I'm talking about your education regarding natural law, common law, how to get along with people, how to eat healthily. This is what I'm talking about. How to transact business and be fair, upright. In one word, honored. So you're responsible for that. But anyway, that's another story. Let's keep going. He is supposed to have lived around 2000 BCE at the beginning of the age of Aries. And he is instructed by the deity to move out of the familiar territory of his homeland and go to an unknown country. Abraham experienced, his experience is representative of all new beginnings. Do you get that, scholars? Abraham was forced, because you can't tell the deity no and not suffer something, right? So Abraham was forced to go to a new land, which represents what? A new beginning. So now here the author continues. His experience, Abraham's experience, that is of going to a new land, is representative of all new beginnings when we are called to proceed, quote, in faith, unquote, to an unknown future with no certainties and few, if any, landmarks. Now, if you're foolish enough to do something in faith, I feel sorry for you. You should note that in the Hebrew scriptures, there's never anything discussed about having faith, right? It's about knowing. Knowing is completely different than faith. Trust. Trust is based upon knowing from past experience. You know, therefore you'll do it. Whereas faith, you just hope. You don't know anything. But faith is a Christian concept promoted to you good Hebrew Israelite Christians and you Christians so that you'll always screw yourself. In the real world, nobody does anything on faith except for you religious people. Even if you look at basic things like investing, now, a lot of y'all might not be familiar with investing. But let's just say, for example, because this is so common to everybody else, statistics, historical price records are used to make projections about future prices and performance. Ain't got nothing to do with faith. But yet you good Christians and you Mores and Moshes and all the rest of y'all out here telling people to have faith and proceed forward. That's why you're experiencing hardship. You are breaking natural law. You don't do something off of hope. No, you do things off of trust. That's why you're supposed to be honorable in all things so that people can trust you. They know that when you say you're going to do something, you will do it. And when they say they're going to do something, they're going to do it. That's your reputation. But you Christians don't want to let go of that New Testament and that gospel as a guide to your life because it's a great excuse for you to screw other people. And when you get screwed, you have a great excuse for whatever vengeance you're going to take. Now, y'all know I'm telling the truth. I was involved in Christianity for more than 3 decades, about 3.5 decades. Like Dr. Clark said, I outpoke the Pope in my religion. I know how the game goes. Christianity is a crutch, and it promotes dishonorable behavior. And I've gone through scriptures to show, to give you a scratch on the surface of it. For example, the judge who wouldn't give the woman justice until she irritated him, bugged him to death. And then he went out and ruled against her adversary without even hearing a case. All he was concerned about is his lifestyle. This woman was bugging him to death. He cared nothing about the facts in the case, the evidence, and whether justice was being delivered. Absolutely nothing. He acted in his own self-interest the same way you do, because that's how you've been conditioned through the New Testament. The steward who made things easier for himself, set himself up for the future because he knew he would be out of a job. And he started giving away his boss's property. And the scripture says that he was wise. Okay, I call that theft and fraud. And so do a lot of other people. And it goes on and on and on. And it's your dishonor that's bringing you tragedy in your relationship and in your life. And it will not stop until you return to nature, which is returning to the Most High, following natural law. These are your 10 commandments. And if you don't understand that, you can come to 506, the Curses course. I teach it every Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can buy any of the books I wrote and publish. The links are in the description area of this video, or you can subscribe to the 101 Ancient Ibaryath course. It's a streaming online course. You can begin to learn the basics of Ancient Ibaryath, which our documents were originally written and spoken in. But most of y'all, unfortunately, and I'm speaking from experience, most of you are too cheap. No or lack of proper respect for education to even subscribe for that 101 class or buy the books because you want somebody to give it to you free. And like many of you have said, oh, you're selling this. It should be free. Hobo, excuse me, Hobo Hebrew Israelites. Hobo Hebrew Israelites. Hobo Christians. Ignorant. Ignorant. Because the fact of the matter is, you want someone to give you a debate, give you some entertainment so you can watch. Knowing in your heart that you don't have all of the information available from a 1, 2, 3, 4 hour debate. That's ridiculous if you think that. But you don't want to do the work of sitting and studying. You don't want to discipline yourself to sit and study, to turn your TV off, turn YouTube off. You don't want to spend any of your finance, your Federal Reserve notes, on buying a book and reading, getting a proper education, coming to class, investing in yourself. You don't want to do any of that. You're a hobo Hebrew Israelite Christian. And you want not only free in terms of Federal Reserve notes, but you want free with no effort on your part. You want to sit, laugh, and joke and listen to a debate and complain about someone who reads and discusses because you're trifling in your mind. And get out of here. If I'm talking about you, if you feel offended, get out. Don't come back. I don't want people like you here. What I'm doing is not for you. If you think my price is too high, get out. Bye. You think my time is not worth what I say my time is worth? Get out. Thumbs down the video and get the hell out. And don't come back because I don't want you. I want people who want to learn. And once they learn, who want to take action. Positive action toward returning to the Most High, which means being honorable, nothing more, nothing less. A man or a woman is honest when they keep their word, when they act in harmony with nature, when they educate themselves about how nature works, when they become focused on building, not tearing down, building tangible stuff. For example, like Dr. Clark used to say, build a safety pin, make a safety pin, build a pair of drawers. Start small, right? Make pants, make shirts, the basic things, make a toothbrush, make jewelry, make a home, make a house, make a building, build a cell phone, build now a school, build a school. You don't even have to do it with your own hands. Schools can be digital now. Build it by contributing. Federal Reserve notes, silver, gold, whatever you want. Skills. Build instead of tearing people down, arguing over doctrine, this foolish, ignorant stuff. A lot of y'all doing it because you want to be somebody. You want to feel important, significant. And this is something easy. You watch a couple videos and then you go in and you start talking trash, trashing people. This was not just a pagan belief. Both the story of Abraham and the story, oh, that's not where we were. Okay, so let's go back to the footnote. That is Abraham. Abraham's experience. His experience is representative of all new beginnings. That new beginning, Abraham had to move to a different land, right? New beginning, the zodiac age shifts from Taurus to Aries, a new beginning. His experience is representative of all new beginnings. When we are called to proceed in faith, you're a fool if you proceed in faith. Sorry to tell you that, but all of that garbage about faith that you hear that sounds so wonderful and beautiful in the New Testament is garbage. You should proceed in trust. To proceed in faith to an unknown future with no certainties and few landmarks. It is from the ram of Aries that Abraham finds in the thicket, the bush, as he prepares to sacrifice Isaac. That's coming from Genesis chapter 2. No, trust yourself. Don't have faith in yourself. Trust yourself. How do you trust yourself? You trust yourself by being honorable, dependable, reliable, faithful in everything so that you have a track record. When you do something other people will call a failure, you pick yourself up, dust off, and you try it again. Try it again. Change something in action or a thought. Change the people who you're dealing with. Make changes. Notice and analyze the feedback, the results that you're getting. Make changes and keep trying. This leads to trust in yourself. All right? Faith is no good. You're hoping with no reason. With no reason. No faith. You get faith by being honorable. You get trust, rather, by being honorable. Move away from faith. Let's continue. Mark was living at a time when the equinox was about to move from Aries to Pisces. from the ram to the fish, with all the attendant calamities that such a dramatic change in human consciousness was expected to bring. Now, I made a community post about this word human, coming from Han Huma, the Hindi deity, the half monkey, half man deity. I suggest you find the videos that I've done where I talk about, I show you the meaning of human in the Law Dictionary. The Law Dictionary has human as monster. A human is a monster. And there's more to that. So if you are Genesis chapter 2, stop referring to yourself as a human. You are a man or a woman. There's a difference. There's a kind of man called a human. Now, I remember back in the day, in the 90s, they were saying humans are man with hue. Man with what? Hue, color, like a brown color. But no, that's not the case. Actually, man with hue, man with color is a colorable man. A fake man, like a knockoff Gucci. Looks like a Gucci, but it's not a Gucci. When you examine it closely, it's not a Gucci. It doesn't have the functionality, the durability, and it's not made of the same quality material. Same as with a human. When you look at it, on the surface, it looks like a man. But when you examine it closely, it does not have the same functionality or durability. Y'all get it? And a human, according to the Law Dictionary, is a monster. I'm not going to keep repeating those videos, but you've heard it. Your words must be correct. Your words must be correct. Your words must come from nature. Your words must come from natural law. Natural law, not maritime law. Hybrid, dead, colorable, human, colorable. Y'all work on that. That might be too much for some of you all to handle, especially those of you who have been around for a long time. All right, human is actually a colorable man, fake, knockoff Gucci. New Testament, as I said, New Testament. All right, this is why man does not have human rights. Man does not have human rights. Man was endowed with rights at birth. Natural rights, which must be enforced and protected. They're not written on paper. But anyway, that's another story. Mark was living at a time when the equinox was about to move from Aries to Pisces, from the ram to the fish. So Abraham lived when there was a transition from Taurus to Aries, and Mark is living at the time when the transition of the equinoctial point is from Aries to Pisces, the two fish, the corporation, dominance of the corporation. Maritime law, land, the law of the sea, where fish live, law of the sea brought on land. With all the attendant calamities that such a dramatic change in human consciousness was expected to bring. So Mark is writing about the end of the age of Aries. Let me repeat that. So Mark is writing about the end of the age of Aries. Now remember, the context that we're dealing with here is end time prophecy. End time prophecy. End of the world versus end of the age. End time prophecy asserts that a time of the end of the world is coming. So end of the world versus end of the age. Be clear on that. So Mark is writing about the end of the age of Aries and the approaching end of the individual's spiritual cycle in terms drawn from Jewish apocalyptic writing, which was the conventional way of describing catastrophic upheavals. Who did that? Who? Which Jewish people are they talking about? Prophets. Did Moses talk about the end of the age? Or the end of the world, rather? Did Moses talk about the end of the world? And that's how the House of Yasharala will come back into, connotatively speaking, the blessings. I'll ask the question again. Did Moses say that there would be some end time catastrophic events that would lead to the end of the world? And that's how the House of Yasharala would be given all of its land back, all of its gold and silver, all of its tangible wealth returned to the nation. Did Moses talk about that? I'll give you 1 minute to think about it. This is a natural herbal drink that I am enjoying. Hibiscus, cinnamon, pine needle. What's the other one called? What's the star? That star herb. Asin, or I can't remember. I can't remember how to pronounce it. Asin or something like that. It's a star. And honey. It has a really, really delicious taste. It tastes better with ice than hot. And this helps you, well, at least it helps me. Helps me sleep. I sleep really well when I drink this. This is said to reduce blood pressure. It's also said to reduce fat around the liver, which of course is very unhealthy, right? A bunch of other things. Now, they also say that if you drink too much of it, it'll give you pain when urinating. I don't know if that's true. But this is also said to be a diuretic. It'll make you pee. But when I drink it, it makes me feel more calm and I sleep better. So, cheers. Really, really quench your thirst. Okay, so where were we? All right. Oh, Moses. Moses did not say that any type of catastrophic astrological events would have to happen or that even would happen as a prelude to the house of Yasharala, re-entering its land. He didn't say that. The mechanism of the return to the blessings, the mechanism of our entering our land again, gaining all of our tangible wealth again, is simply this: return to the Most High. Follow natural law. Follow his commandments. Period. That's it. Nothing else. Check it in Deuteronomy chapter 30. Now let me ask you, who is the authority here? The prophets, who came way after the contract with the Most High was made. That contract, that covenant, if you will, was sealed using Moses and the nation, sealed with blood. All right, sealed with blood. That was Moses who was involved in that. All right, so that contract existed a long time before those prophets came. All right. Moses didn't say anything about any celestial catastrophic events catalyzing the return of the house of Yasharala to its land. You won't find that in the contract. So where? Also, the contract, you're not allowed to change it, cannot add anything to it, cannot take away anything from it. So where are these end time catastrophic celestial phenomena coming from? How did they find their way into this discussion? That's what you should be asking as an intelligent man and woman. And based upon that answer to your satisfaction, you reject or you accept Moses and the contract that was presented through him, or the amendments to the contract that you find in the writings of certain prophets. All right. You decide. You decide. But there are astrological images too. But there are astrological images too. And for some reason, we find yet again that the zodiacal motifs are less clear in Mark than in Matthew. In verse 26, Mark writes, at that time, talking about the last days, the end of the world, the great tribulation, Armageddon. At that time, men will see the Son of Man coming in clouds with great power and glory. Clouds, of course, are water bearers. Water bearers. Clouds are water bearers. That is scientifically correct, right? Water bearer, what's the astrological or zodiac sign for the water barrier? It's Aquarius. Aquarius. The zodiac sign, Aquarius. Clouds, of course, are water barriers. So the clouds are symbolic of Aquarius. But the parallel passage in Matthew is even more explicitly Aquarian. Quote, at that time, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky. Y'all see that? The sign. At that time, the sign of the Son of Man will appear in the sky, and all the nations of the earth will mourn. They will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds. They will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. That's coming from Matthew chapter 24, verse 30. Now, y'all, listen. Let me show you how grammar works. Not grammar, but let me show you how understanding language works. Let's compare what Mark said and what Matthew said, all right? Very simple, but it makes a huge difference. I want you to see in your mind the following image. Well, better yet, let me demonstrate first. Here is the book, The Gospel of the Zodiac, which I told you guys to download and print. Here it is. Take a look. My hand is above the book. Now my hand is below the book. Note the difference. It's above the book. My hand is below the book. Now my hand, I don't know if you guys can see it. Let me see. There's a delay, so let me see. I don't know if you guys can see this, but my hand is on the side of the book. All right. Now my hand is on the other side of the book. What am I demonstrating to you? What am I demonstrating to you? Now look, take a look down. Now my hand is in the book. It's in the book. Do you see it? It's in the book. So let's do it again. My hand is above the book. My hand is on the book now. On the book, see it? My hand is on the book. My hand is in the book. All right, now let's go back to it. I want to demonstrate something to you. See how many of you caught this. See how many of you caught this. Mark writes concern. Now we're talking about the same event. Listen, at that time, men will see the Son of Man coming in clouds. In the book. The Son of Man is in the clouds, the same way my hand is in the book. The Son of Man will come in the clouds. But what does Matthew say? Matthew does not say the same thing. Matthew says, at that time, the Son of Man will appear in the sky and all the nations of the earth will mourn. They will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds. On the clouds. So which is it? Is the Son of Man coming on the clouds, which means he's above the clouds, right? He's on the clouds on the surface? Or is he coming in the clouds? Which one is it? You must pay attention to detail. So is he coming on the clouds? On the cloud? Or in the cloud? Or did Matthew and Mark get a different download? If that's different, what else is different? Or did whoever wrote these, did they make a mistake? Did they make a mistake? Y'all do with that whatever you want to do with it. Let's continue. A little earlier, Matthew reports that the question which prompts this whole discourse is, and here's the question that prompted what we just read. Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming? Parousia, literally present. So I'm assuming that's Greek. And the completion of the age, y'all notice that? And the completion of the age. The authorized version translates this last phrase, quote, the end of the world. Now, why did they do that? Why did the authorized version? I'm assuming he's talking about the King James authorized version of the Bible. Translates that very same question. Tell us, when will these things be? And what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age? Let me repeat that, I'm sorry. The King James Version translates that same question as the end of the world. When will these things be? What are the signs of your coming and the end of the world? See, these are very different questions. Very different questions. The end of the world is very different than the end of an age. An age is a span of time. The end of the world is the end of the world, unless you specify what the definition of world is that would make it different than the common definition of it. I hope y'all understand what I'm saying to you. The authorized version translates this last phrase as, quote, the end of the world, end quote. But the Greek word is the genitive form of aeon, A-I-O-N, which means, quote, a space of time, a lifetime, generation, period of history, an indefinitely long period, in age. In age. You didn't see anything about the end of the world in that definition, did you? All right, so here you see an example of translators throwing in a whole phrase that's not in the text, in the original text. And why did they do it? Well, because they want to push a doctrine. They want to push a doctrine, right? They want to shift your mind from nature, cosmology, astrology, nature, nothing else but nature. If you look up and you see the sun, the moon, and the stars, you cannot deny that you see the sun, moon, and the stars. And they're there in their place according to some laws. We don't know them all, but it exists because why? We see it. So I'm not talking about some hocus pocus religion. I'm talking about that which you look up in the sky and see. So don't get it twisted. They want to shift your mind from that natural phenomena and how it works, observing and understanding how it works, and then using it to your advantage, meaning living in harmony with it. That's what using it to your advantage means using it or living in harmony with those principles, that natural law. They want to take you away from that and put you in the area of what? Faith, external deity worship, religion, doctrine, scare you to death to get you to change your mindset, torture you, exterminate your ancestors, terrorize you. Why? So that you will accept the concept of the end of the world. And then they can turn around and manufacture news and prophecy to keep you scared to death, thinking that you're in the last days. Because they got you. They got your mind. Like I told you before, these people are magicians with the pen. Magicians with the pen. How do they do it? Through writing fantastic stories and then manufacturing evidence through events that may or may not affect you personally or directly. And they convince you. And then they create policy. They create policy and execute the policy, force you to learn it, indoctrinate you in school and other areas of life, indoctrinate you, right? Create movies on the topic. And all of a sudden, you're transported, you're psychologically transported into the land of Oz. You're transported mentally into the land of Oz. And that's where you're at right now. Wake up, Dorothy. Wake up, Dorothy, come home. Come back to nature, come back to natural law. Leave that New Testament stuff alone if you can figure it out. And get out. I know people who figured it out, but they refuse to get out because their friends are there. People have actually told me stuff like that. They won't have any friends anymore. Crazy. There is more than a hint here of the end of one astrological age and the beginning of another. That the new age referred to is Aquarius is confirmed a little further on in the next text, where we read, as for lightning that comes from the east, now remember in the beginning, you'll see the constellation 5:30 in the morning, where? Look out on the horizon, the east, the east. For as lightning comes from the east, is visible in the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. So will be the coming of the Son of Man. You'll see him, whether you're on the east or western part of earth, you'll see him coming from the east. I guess this is what the author is trying to say by quoting this scripture, because the lightning comes from the east. You see it whether you're in the east or western part of the landmass. But I don't know. Let's read it. Let's read it. I'm just making an assumption. Matthew chapter 24, verse 27. That's where we got that from. For as lightning comes from the east, is visible even in the west, so will the Son of Man, so will the coming of the Son of Man. If you're in the west, you'll see him coming in the east. The same as you'll see, if you're in the west, the constellation at 5:30 in the morning, rising in the east every March 19, 2021, maybe 22, at the equinox, spring equinox, vernal equinox, once a year. You'll know what age you're in. This little simile captures the very glyph of Aquarius, which is water, waves of the water, like Mott and Ibaryath. This little simile captures the very glyph of Aquarius. Now I'm going to show y'all this. I hope y'all can see it. I don't know if it's going to be, if the camera will pick it up. Y'all need to buy 911 Ibaryath Rescue. Let me see, where is it? Let me put my finger on it for y'all. Hold on. You can get a copy of all of the pictographs, all of the Ibaryath pictographs. Okay, y'all see it? Let me hold it here. I hope you can see it. I don't know. You can get a copy of all of the pictographs, okay? Yeah, there it is. You'll see all of the ancient Ibaryath pictographs. 911, I forgot the name of the book. It's a purple book. 911 Ibaryath Rescue or something like that, y'all. Hope y'all can see it. All right, yeah, I got it. The link to that book is in the description area of the video. You should actually have that in your library for yourself and for your children. So let's continue. This little simile captures the very glyph of Aquarius, the twin flashes of lightning. Oh, wow. So they're saying in this book, Aquarius is the twin flashes of lightning. Very interesting, right? Because Aquarius, why would the lightning be horizontal? We generally don't see lightning horizontal. We see lightning coming straight down and breaking to an angle. We don't see lightning coming horizontal. I don't believe him. That's but maybe it is. I don't know. I don't know. It could be a hidden message here, right? It could be horizontal so that everybody can think it's water, except for the people who are in the know. Now that makes sense. So maybe he's right. So maybe there's a hidden message in that. So I will accept. Having thought about it further, I'll accept it. Okay? I'll accept it. It's lightning. If it is lightning, then it is consistent with Matthew chapter 24, verse 27, right? For as lightning that comes from the east is visible in the west, and we just saw the glyph of Aquarius, according to the author, these are two lightning bolts. Two lightning bolts. All right, so y'all do with that with what you want. This little simile captures the very glyph of Aquarius, the twin flashes of lightning. Now let's go look at the footnote. There's a footnote here. All right, I'm glad he put the footnote because that will help me greatly. He needs to clarify this. Here's the footnote on page 199. Allen quotes Mr. C.W. King, quote, "As for the source of these hieroglyphs, I have never been able to trace it. They are found exactly as we see them in every old medieval MSS." I guess that's a document, y'all. And Mr. King is inclined, in default of any other origin, but what we just looked at, right? What he just mentioned, to quote, "suspect they were devised by Arab sages," end quote. So this quotation is saying that twin lightning flashes were designed by Arab sages. So are these Arabs Moors, M-O-O-R-S? Were they the black priesthood, the dark priesthood, rebels, renegades, enemies of the state or of the empire, or were they Moors who were good people? And then so we can trust that these are actually two twin lightning flashes. That's something, again, you have to decide. An opinion of which I do not follow, according to the author. The subject is shrouded in great obscurity. And even Professor Sayce recently informed me that he had been unable to trace the history of the zodiacal symbols up to their first appearance in Western literature. Now, you all know that I mentioned a couple videos ago that the Westerners, well, let me not say the Westerners, the hybrids have changed the symbols of each zodiac to draw energy to and to support the hybrid, the hybrids and Dogon worship. What does that mean in plain English? That means Christianity. Christianity is Dogon worship. All right, Catholicism is Dogon worship. Corporations, all the logos. Y'all notice that the big corporations, their logos are almost always Greek deities or some type of deity. Mercury, Nike, all of these are always deities. All right. So I mentioned to you before, with the reasons, if you're interested in that, why I said that, go back and watch the videos, that these images that we're looking at that represent the zodiac, in my opinion, have been changed. Okay. And I said it then and I say it now. We need to create our own symbols for the zodiacs. And also take a look at the meaning of the zodiacs because they've been changed. All right. And we need to correct them back to what they were with our ancient ancestors. All right. What I'm saying is this: Jeremiah chapter 8, verse 8 says that they wrote lies in the law and they created religion. So if they changed that book, they changed those documents, do you think they wouldn't change the zodiacal record? Do you think they wouldn't change the Constitution for the United States of North America? You think they wouldn't change words, add new phrases to support their worldview, to draw people into worship of Dogon, Isis, Zeus, etc.? You think they're beyond that? No, they're not. I have so much content on this channel about the hybrid troglodyte niggers being word magicians. If you just watch the videos and do the research, you'll see it. The subject is shrouded in great obscurity, and even Professor Sayce recently informed me that he had been unable to trace the history of the zodiac symbols up to their first appearance in Western literature. No, they're not going to show it. All right, so that's written in Allen footnote, page 49. However, there is little doubt that the Aquarius hieroglyph appears just as we have it, except with 3 lines instead of 2. On the Egyptian zodiac of Dendera. All right, so there's an ancient symbol of Aquarius with 3 lightning flashes instead of 2, and that has Egyptian origins. All right, y'all. So let's finish this paragraph. The reference to the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, let me repeat that. The reference to the sign of the Son of Man in heaven, you'll see that in verse 30. I'm assuming that's Matthew chapter 24, verse 30, confirms the Aquarian signature on this whole section. Aquarius is the only sign of the Son of Man in the zodiac. Well, there you go, guys. Aquarius is the sign of the Son of Man in the zodiac. Let's repeat this. At that, I'm going to read Matthew 24, verse 30 again. At that time, you'll see the zodiac sign Aquarius coming in the clouds with great power and glory. At that time, the zodiac sign Aquarius will appear in the sky, and all the nations of the earth will mourn. They will see the sign Aquarius coming on the clouds of the sky with power and great glory. Matthew 24, verse 30. You got a lot to be scared of, right, with Aquarius. A lot to be afraid of with Aquarius. If you don't know why I'm saying that, go back and watch the video. All of the Aquarius videos. All right. So let's continue. Aquarius is the only sign of the Son of Man in the zodiac. And whenever we have encountered the man, quote unquote, in this kind of symbolic context, it has invariably been associated with three other fixed signs of the zodiac: Taurus, Leo, Scorpio. This quarren, this QU, hold on, y'all, my text is blurry. I'm trying to see what this says. QUAT, quatern. This quaternity appears in the book of Ezekiel. Okay, the verse cited is Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 10, as, quote, the four living creatures. In the prophet's vision, and in the book of Revelation as the four beasts around the throne of God, quoting Revelation chapter 4, verse 7. There are a lion, the calf, the man, and the eagle. These are the zodiac signs Leo, Taurus, Aquarius, Scorpio. Uh-oh. Did y'all see that? Let's do it one more again. Let's do it one more again. These quaternity appears in the book of Ezekiel, chapter 1, verse 10, as the four living creatures in Ezekiel's vision, and in the book of Revelation as the four beasts around God's throne, quoting Revelation chapter 4, verse 7. Here they are, y'all. Listen. Talking about Ezekiel chapter 1, verse 10, Revelation chapter 4, verse 7. They are the lion. That's Leo the lion. The zodiac Leo the lion. The calf. The calf is Taurus the bull. Leo the lion. The calf, Taurus the bull. The man. Go into the house where you see the man carrying water, the water bearer. The man is Aquarius. The man is the zodiac sign Aquarius, the water bearer, the water bearer, the man carrying water who is pouring it on the earth. Scorpio, the eagle is Scorpio. The eagle is the zodiac sign Scorpio. So let's do it again. In Revelation chapter 4, verse 7, you will see the zodiac signs as follows. The lion in Revelation chapter 4, verse 7 is a zodiac sign Leo, Leo the lion. The calf in Revelation chapter 4, verse 7 is Taurus the bull. The man in Revelation chapter 4, verse 7 is Aquarius the water bearer, the man holding the barrel of water. The eagle in Revelation chapter 4, verse 7 is the zodiac sign Scorpio. Now y'all marinate on that. Marinate on that. Put your comments in the comment section. As a matter of fact, let me check the comments. Hold on, y'all. I would love to see what you have to say about this, y'all. Let me hear what you have to say about this. Show this to your pastors, preachers, imams, spiritual leaders, religious leaders, and let's see what they got for you. Victoria SDL, thank you so much. Victoria SDL says, great video. Thank you so much. Adraina, good to see you. Assalamu alaikum. Greetings of peace and blessings, Brother Yasapa. Great presentation. This information is deep. Many blessings. Salam. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Makba Masabai. I do the same back to you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Shalawama to everyone. Make sure y'all distribute this. Ask people who claim to know and lead to give you the actual meaning of these if they disagree. All right? Or just see what they have to say, y'all. Because this is secret knowledge. You are not supposed to know this. They don't want you to know this. This part of Matthew's gospel seems to point toward our own day, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, when the old structures, that's the old corporations, the old institutions, institutions, nation states that cause us so much oppression, trauma, tragedy, and grief would be torn down, So all of these corporations that have been involved in causing wars, financing wars, selling deadly products, making deadly molecules, calling them vaccines and other types of medicines, they would all be torn down. When these old structures, corporations, nation states, religions would be torn down and a new order would arise from the smoking ashes. What is this telling us? Order out of chaos. Order out of chaos. Get the people to demand protection from the corporation. So that They become subjects of the corporation. Loss of natural rights. The corporation, through its operatives, bring in chaos in the form of destruction of the monetary system, destruction of all social institutions. All of this is spelled out in the protocols of the learned elders of Zion. You can download it from the FBI's website. The FBI have it available on their website in the FBI vault. Destroy it, and then bring in the new monetary system, the new government, all right, which will be a socialist form of government if they have their way, and then turn around and say it was all what? It was all God's purpose, fulfillment of prophecy. Y'all got that? Manufactured prophecy, manufactured catastrophe, manufactured chaos, manufactured order out of manufactured chaos. This is a Masonic principle, y'all. This part of Matthew's gospel seems to point towards our day, the dawning of the age of Aquarius, when the old structures would be torn down and a new order would arise from the smoking ashes. W.B. Yeats, who was well versed in esoteric lore, that means mystery stories, describes the birth of the new age in his poem, The Second Coming. Y'all see that? The second coming. That means what? That means when Christ comes back. End time prophecy. It is a time when, quote, things fall apart. The Great Tribulation, y'all. And the center cannot hold, end quote. It's going, the bottom is going to fall out. When mere anarchy is loose, now anarchy is being used connotatively, y'all. When mere anarchy is loosed upon the world, end quote. Y'all see that? Who's going to loose the anarchy? The elites who are in control of all of the institutions and militaries. That's who's going to release, and it's happening now, y'all. There's nothing divine about this. These are manufactured prophecies. And the image from the Spiritus Mundi, which will accompany these events, is that of a beast with the lion body, that's Leo, the lion of the zodiac, and the head of a man, that's Aquarius, the water bearer, the zodiac sign Aquarius. Aquarius, the text continues, Aquarius and its polar opposite sign, Leo. Y'all got that? So take a look here. For example, let's say this is Aquarius here. Polar opposite would be what? A straight line down. Here's Leo. So here's Aquarius at the polar opposite end of this cell phone. Polar opposite end of this line is Leo. Or it could be facing any direction. Okay, polar opposite ends. Polar opposite of Aquarius is Leo. That's what the author is talking about, all right? So let's do it again. Aquarius and its polar opposite sign, Leo, the two signs which will characterize the new epoch. Y'all got that? Aquarius and its polar opposite sign, Leo, are the two signs that will characterize the new epoch, the new age, the new zodiac age. Peter Lessemshurer has written about these Mathenian symbols. I guess these are, Mathenian means Matthew, the signs, the images, the celestial images that Matthew wrote. This is what he's talking about, I'm assuming. Peter Lessem, whatever that last name is, has written about these Mathenian symbols in the following rather colorful terms. I guess this guy, Peter, is an authority on the topic. I'm assuming that. Otherwise, why put his quote here? And it reads, and as he is Uranus, the planet Uranus, brandished his newfound powers. Now remember, Uranus is ruling Aquarius with Saturn. If I remember correctly, yes. Flexed his cosmic muscles, she, the Earth Mother, would suffer violent convulsions. Y'all got that? The Earth Mother would suffer violent convulsions. So you should expect what? These are earthquakes. Also take the form of tsunamis, right? Volcanic eruptions, etc. The planet would be sent reeling by disturbances in deep space. Okay, maybe asteroids. What if the moon wobbles in its orbit? What if the sun wobbles in its orbit? Or something happens to the energy? Who knows what could happen, but this is what he's referring to. The planet would be sent reeling by disturbances in deep space. So Earth its orbit may change. Okay, that would be horrible, wouldn't it? There would be planetary collisions, a comet or worse. Earthquakes would follow. Volcanic dust would hood the moon and turn the sun to blood. Famine and pestilence would stalk the lands. Y'all seeing what he's talking about? It's almost like Matthew is simply rewriting what was known astrologically. Wars would rage. The very survival of life on Earth would be threatened. Such would be the birth pangs of the new age, the advent of the long-awaited sky kingdom. And then in the aftermath of the twilight of the gods, this is lowercase gods, right? So in Western mythology, these are demigods. The promised new dawn. Now, remember, there are wars and famines and all of this type of stuff, right? So the old institutions, the banking institutions, the nation states, everything has been torn down. So there's going to emerge a new form of government. And it's projected to be socialism. And then in the aftermath of the twilight of the gods, lowercase g, the promised new dawn. Okay, so y'all, all of this suffering, these violent convulsions, the comet hitting the earth or worse, the moon or the earth wobbling in its orbit, changing its orbit, the earthquakes, the fires. This would occur when? During the transition from Pisces into Aquarius, right? This is the trauma that we talked about in the last video. This is the catastrophic events that would change the mindset of the people from me to nationality, to community organization, or orientation, group, economics on a global scale. The coming of the Son of Man, the birth of Aquarius. Y'all got that? That's quoting from Lemesurier. I don't know how to pronounce that, page 40. We're going to end it right here. Islam to all. Well, no. Let's finish this so we can come back. We have one more paragraph. Let's finish this so we can come back and begin at our subheading, which is on the next video, it'll be the deacons of Aquarius. One more paragraph, y'all. But the turmoil and chaos of our own turbulent time of transition from Pisces to Aquarius, perfectly predictable on the basis of ancient theory of astrological ages. Y'all got that? So what did Matthew do? What did Matthew do? He just wrote a prophecy, if you can imagine this. He wrote a prophecy just rewriting what was known astrologically to must occur when the astrological age shifts from Pisces to Aquarius. Those a certain group of things that were already known by the ancient astrologers or astronomers, already known. Matthew knew it and he just rewrote it and wrote it in terms or in the form of a prophecy, styled it as prophecy, plagiarized it. Let's continue. But the turmoil and chaos of our own turbulent time of transition from Pisces to Aquarius, perfectly predictable on the basis of ancient theory of astrological ages. So therefore, Matthew knew it. Mark knew it. Whoever these writing committees are who wrote the Gospels, they knew it. Whoever wrote the prophecies, end time prophecies in the book of Isaiah, Ezekiel, etc., they also knew it. There's your Jeremiah 8, verse 8. Let me say it again. There is your Jeremiah 8, verse 8. Echoes the time of transition from Aries to Pisces, during which the Gospels were written. Y'all see that? The age of the fish is beginning. The age of the ram, symbolized by the temple in Jerusalem, is ending. There was never a second temple built. I remind you again, go back and watch the video I did with Sonetta. All Abrahamic faiths are a fraud. The age of the ram, symbolized by the temple in Jerusalem, is ending. And the old order will resist so strongly that the universe itself will reflect the tension between the new and the old, quoting Mark chapter 13, verse 7 and 8. When these things will occur, no one knows, but Jesus' followers are called upon to hold out the end to, let me repeat that. I'm going to start from the beginning. When these things will occur, no one knows, but Jesus' followers are called upon to hold out to the end, quoting Mark chapter 13, verse 13. To look for signs, to look for astrological signs, quoting Mark chapter 13, verse 28 through 31. One thing is certain, quote, this generation will not pass away until all these things have happened. Mark chapter 13, verse 30, i.e., the time of transition will take place within the lifetime of the people alive. Let me repeat that. Jesus said that the time of transition, all of the astrological phenomena, all of the trauma mentioned in the prophecy that we're discussing, all of the trauma recorded in the astrological records, the ancient theory of astronomy that we discussed, all of this stuff would happen during the apostles' lifetime. But it did not. It did not. 2023 years since the birth of Christ. Well, let me rephrase that. It is now 2023, the year 2023. The Christ figure allegedly died at 33 years of age. So subtract 33 from 2023. All right. So that's going to take us to somewhere around what? So 33, let's subtract 23. That takes us back to 2000. Subtract 10. That takes us to 1990. 1,990 years later, and none of these events have occurred. The religion the moon is still in its orbit. The sun is still in its orbit. They haven't turned to blood. There was never a second temple built. Never built. But you won't know that's true unless you go and watch the video that I told you to watch. It's on Zion Law School, this YouTube channel homepage. All Abrahamic religions are a fraud. You'll see a picture of me with Sonnet at the thumbnail. None of this happened. None. The religion that I was in became famous because of their end time prophecy dogma that they pushed door to door since 1878 or something like that. And they've had to change that doctrine 3, 4 times, 5 times. And the people keep buying it, right? So if you prophesy something and it doesn't come true, you're a false prophet, right? You're a false prophet. And the scripture says, don't listen to you, don't be afraid of you, right? You didn't get what you got that you say you got from the Most High. He didn't say it. But yet our people are so brainwashed, so lost, and I'm not putting anybody down because I was once there for 30 plus years. That organization said, well, we got new light, so we changed the prophecy. Oh, we got new light, so we changed the prophecy 3, 4, 5 times. But yet these same people, they can read in the Bible that same verse that if a prophet says that something's going to happen and he said that the Most High said it and it doesn't happen, it didn't come from you, you shouldn't be afraid of him. What's the punishment that false prophets are supposed to get? All right, y'all? Open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes. Don't be afraid to think for yourself. Don't be afraid to return to the Most High, which is returning to nature, natural law. All right, y'all. All right, y'all. So I'm Dr. DrYasapa from Zion Law School. You can find links to everything that you might want from me as a start in the description area of this video. Come back tomorrow or the next day. We will wrap up Aquarius, I think, in about 1 or 2 more videos. Let me see. Let me go back here. So we'll begin the next video on page 200. So we may be able to wrap it up in one video, hopefully. Page 200 to 203. The topics we'll discuss: the deacons of Aquarius and the awakening. Whatever that means, I don't know. We'll see when we read it. All right, y'all, I'm out. Oh, by the way, make sure y'all show your support for Consul General Lamont Maurice L. Go to enforcetheconstitution.org. Check out the update if there's any. Sign up for their mailing list. And of course, whatever they're asking you to do, or everyone to do, to support the release of our Consul General from unlawful imprisonment so that he can be released. All right, please do that. It could be you or your son or your daughter or other loved ones. So please do that. Like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel if you already haven't. Show some support. Share the video. If you've been here more than 5 minutes, you owe it to me to